This is a review of the Pentair SuperFlo variable speed pump. Now you might be shopping for a new variable speed pump and you're seeing that there's a lot of different products on the market and maybe you're having trouble kind of deciding which one's going to be right for you. What you can do to kind of simplify this process is you can, right off the bat, you can segment the variable speed market into kind of what I would call entry-level pumps and then what I would call the large pumps. So there's a whole series of variable speed pumps which are essentially gigantic, 2.5, and 3 horsepower motors. And for most swimming pool applications, that's just far bigger than you need, and so much so that it could actually damage peripheral equipment if you were to try to use one of those on the wrong swimming pool installation. So how would you know if you need one of these big pumps versus one of these entry-level pumps? And the first thing would be, well, what do you have on your swimming pool that might necessitate a great deal of flow? And the first things that come to mind are waterfalls, attached hot tubs that have jets that run from the filtration pump. In-floor cleaning systems are one that require a great deal of flow. So some of these installations would be where you would typically see the larger 2 to 3 horsepower variable speed pumps. The vast majority of residential swimming pools would probably benefit from shopping from the entry-level market for variable speed pumps. And that's what we're looking at here. The Pentair SuperFlo variable speed pump is Pentair's version of the entry-level pump. The IntelliFlo is their flagship pump with a much larger motor. But for most people shopping on the market, just trying to find something that's going to fill the need and help you to save some money on electricity, I think that the SuperFlo variable speed pump is the one that you're probably going to be looking at most commonly. What Pentair went after with this pump specifically is they really tried to make something that was all around versatile, and it's really put them ahead in the market. Now, specifically when we're talking about these entry-level pumps or the smaller pumps, that's kind of pumps up to and including 1.5 horsepower. And that's what this pump is here that you're looking at. It's a 1.5 horsepower pump. There's a reason why they chose that number specifically. And the reason is that 1.5 horsepower is the maximum size electric motor that you can run from a standard 120 volt electrical outlet. And so that's something that they really wanted to achieve with this pump. Most pumps in this class of variable speed pump are either to be wired with 240 volts or 120 volts. And you have to know in advance which you have, because the pumps are not capable of being adaptable between those voltages. Whereas the Pentair SuperFlo pump that you're looking at here is able to handle either 120 volts or 240 volts. You just feed whatever you have into the pump and it knows what to do with it. And that kind of sets this pump apart in this class, in that a lot of people don't know what they have for an electrical service, so they'd be hesitant to make a purchase. Or perhaps they have 120 volts now with the intention to upgrade the electrical service to 240 volts later, and they don't want to limit themselves with the pump that they choose now. Often the 120 volt options for these variable speed pumps are not comparable to the pump that you see here. Some of them come with a much smaller motor for the 120 volt class. So that's something that again sets this SuperFlo apart, in that if you do elect to run it at 120 volts, it's still going to be a very capable pump. It's not downsized and much smaller. It's still a 1.5 horsepower motor that's operating. In addition to the versatility of the electrical connection, something that Pentair went after is they wanted you to be able to use 1.5 or 2-inch plumbing. Now, what you see here, that is the union connection that comes with this pump. And it makes it very convenient. You just snap the union, screw it in place, and then you can plumb your PVC pipe into that. You can either, as you see here, glue 1.5 PVC into the union, or you could use a 2-inch coupling on the outside of that union. So in essence, you can use either 1.5 or 2-inch, again, complementing the versatility of this pump. In addition to being good for 2-inch and 1.5 plumbing, 120 volts or 240 volts, This pump also satisfies all the criteria that you're looking for in terms of a variable speed pump and its ability to save you money on electricity. Primarily what you're looking to do is you're looking to have control over the RPM that the motor runs at. The lower that you can turn the RPMs down, the less electricity you'll use. But it's not a linear drop. There's an exponential decrease in the amount of power that the pump consumes as you dial down the RPM of the motor, and that makes the electrical savings possible to get up to 70, 80, or even 90% less than what you're currently paying, depending on what your current pump run schedule looks like. So with this pump, what they've included is a fairly minimal, again remembering this is their entry-level pump, this is a minimal display. It has a 24-hour clock that's programmable, as well as 3 individual speeds that you can program. So what you would do is you would program this pump to run, X amount of hours at speed 1, and when that cycle completes, it goes over into speed 2 for X amount of hours that you set the programming to. When that cycle completes, it goes over to number 3, and it runs on that program until the 24-hour clock expires, and then it resets starting over at number 1. And so that gives you, it maybe not complete control over how you operate this pump, but enough such that you'll be able to program it to experience the lowest possible costs. What you want to do is, most of the day, you want this pump to run at a low speed, like you see here, 1200 RPM, because it takes very, very little electricity to run this pump at a low speed like this. And then periodically throughout the day, you'll want to run it at a higher speed, and what you'll want to do is program that such that those high speed times are during off-peak hours for electricity, such that you pay the lowest possible rates during the time when the pump is running at the highest speeds. And that, in essence, is how you save money with a variable speed pump. So this pump very much satisfies that criteria of being able to save you the money. It's versatile in that it's designed to work on pretty much any plumbing system, any electrical supply voltage that you have, and it does have the brand name recognition of being a Pentair pump, which is at least arguably the makers of the best, highest quality swimming pool equipment you can buy. If you found this information helpful, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can check out my website, swimmingpoolsteve.com.